What is going on, all my movie-loving badasses out there? It's your boy Preston, Fat Samurai Guy, back again with another Yin-Yang episode. That's right, the series that my brother from another mother, that's right, director Billy Hansen, co-created with me, giving us an excuse to review two movies that are the complete opposite, and we get to talk about it and have some fun here. Billy Hansen is back. Welcome back, brother.
Thank you very much. I am excited to be back. It's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been a while, man. We always have fun with those versus episodes and stuff, whatnot. And of course, just reviewing movies in general. If you guys have not seen our extremely long but really entertaining review of The Wages of Fear, that came out on Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
Please,
we had a lot to say.
Yeah. It's worth watching. Put it on in the background while you're driving or doing dishes or whatever. It's hilarious. But I'll put a link in the description and all that stuff. I'll link it to the video so you guys can check out that hilariosity on that.
Oh yeah,
shit show.
So
but do we have two shit shows to talk about today? I don't know. I don't think so. I think we may have lucked out here, but we're going to talk about the good and the bad and the ugly and all that good stuff. But before we jump into it, brother, how was your tour? Kind of a tour, a little bit in Maine, with the release of your film Bone Cold in theaters.
So it was, but if we're calling it a tour, it's a very quick tour. So what we did was we held this event for a veterans program up there called the Maine Veterans Project. And so we held this fundraiser up in Bangor, Maine. Huston University has this awesome theater. And they're set up for like film festivals and stuff. So we organized this whole thing to be a fundraiser for that veterans program. If you haven't seen the movie, it's very much like it's about military service. It's about PTSD, and it's pretty hard hitting. So it was an amazing event. Like we had some powerful feedback from the audience and stuff. And yeah, nice. There was one guy who like stood up in the crowd and he was like, "Listen, I don't have a question for you, but I do want to tell you like my story." And he kind of told us a little bit about his time in Vietnam and how this brought out all this stuff in him. And it was awesome, man. It was a really good time. And we raised a bunch of money for the veterans. So I was excited about it.
Awesome, man. Well, congratulations on the premiere of your movie and getting it out there and being on all these shows and all these other podcasts and stuff like that, spreading the word, not just about, the showing the love for the veterans and letting people be aware of the PTSD that they go through. But it's a kick-ass movie. You want to promote the movie, so you got to do that too. You're also promoting great filmmaking as well.
Yeah, it was a really cool. We did a Q&A afterward, and we talked a lot about how the movie was made and all the fun stuff. And we also had a psychologist there who was talking about like the PTSD, how it was represented, and how it actually is. It was a really cool mixture of the two things. So I can talk about movies for days, that. So it was a really fun.
What we do. It's what we do anyway here on this show. But yeah, man, congrats on getting the movie out there and spreading the word, man. Congratulations.
Thanks, man. It's been fun.
And more awesomeness to come from Mr. Hansen. So stay tuned, and you'll hear about it here, of course, on Fat Samurai Guy's channel. But now we got two doozies, and I'm like, why did you guys pick this one? Well, I picked this one, these two films, because it's Comic-Con month, baby. Oh yeah, it's Comic-Con month, and so the superhero and Kung Fu extravaganza panel, which is the best panel at Comic-Con. That's right. I'm biased. So it is making its triumphant return. So I was just like, we got to do something Comic-Con related. Let's do this. So I picked something superhero-y related and something martial arts related. So that's why we have these two here. But let's go ahead and jump into Ground Control to Major Grom, based off of the... I knew I'd get him.
That was good. That was good.
Thank you. I have my moments. But yeah, based off the comic book here. That's right. Comic book character. Yes. And I did not know this. There was a previous movie. I did not know. There was a previous film. I don't know if this was a full length or this was a short. I haven't had enough time to look into it. But there was a previous film before Plague Doctor, which is the one we're going to talk about. And there's one that came out already. There's a sequel came out
Yeah.
already. The Game, this year already. So I guess Netflix hasn't picked it up yet because we haven't seen it posting or anything. So hopefully Netflix picks this one up, so we can maybe talk about that in the future. But yeah, I saw the trailer for this like way back, and I was like, well, this looks kind of interesting, right? Because it's always awesome to look at other countries and cultures' versions of superheroes, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It's always healthy to look outside, to think outside of the box, and not just Marvel, DC, Marvel, DC, Marvel, DC, right?
Yeah.
Look, I got the Deadpool shirt on. All right, I love me some Marvel when it's great. I love me some DC when it's great. All right. But it's great to again look at other countries' cultures, their creations, because sometimes it's kind of better.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely like weirder, you know. And I remember when you sent this to me, I hadn't heard of it, and I was like, Russian like superhero super cop movie. Oh yeah, no, I'm in.
yeah. So yeah, I didn't. But here's the thing: the trailer that I saw made it look like a serious, like The Dark Knight, type of movie. I was not expecting hilariosity, like right at the beginning of the movie. I was not expecting this at all, man. I was rolling. I was like, this whole opening chase sequence where he's trying to get these bank robbers is so much fun. And for a second, because this was my introduction to the character, I didn't know anything about this character at all. And I did not. At first, I was like, is this superhero kind of like is this the Groundhog's Day of superhero movies? Like at first, like I was like, because he kept trying to stop the bank robbers and he kept getting killed, and then it would restart. But then that's just what he thinks about in his head. You find out later. He tries to think a couple steps ahead. Well, if I try to do this, what will be the outcome? So I was like, that would have been kind of funny. The first Groundhog's Day superhero movie, but
it's sort of like, did you ever see Run Lola Run?
Yeah.
It's sort of like that, just in little tiny segments. But yeah, that was a really when I clicked it on too, that first opening scene, I was like, I'm into this. Okay, cool.
I was like, okay, this is hilarious. I didn't know this had this kind of tone. But this came out, and don't forget, guys, when we do these, we will include some spoilers when we see fit. If there's something we don't want to spoil, then we won't. But we're going to spoil both of these movies. It's fine.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, Major Grom Plague Doctor came out in 2021. Here's the plot synopsis. Super cop Grom fights crime in St. Petersburg. An uphill battle, a vigilante starts killing the powerful who escaped justice. Yes. It's funny because when you look at the poster, it's almost like he's the plague doctor. Like, because I was like, oh, he's a cop by day, but he's like the superhero vigilante by night. But I was like, oh no, it's not that at all.
I did think that was him, like that was his alter ego.
Yeah.
And then I realized, like, no, his like superhero costume is that brown leather jacket and that brown like tabby hat. That's the superhero. That's him in his entirety.
Yeah, he at one point in the movie he actually puts on an actual police outfit to get in disguise to escape jail, and he's just like, how the fuck do you guys wear this shit? Like he's not feeling it. His father who was a cop wore the same outfit, 2 peas in a pod. But yeah, this is who he is. He's the super cop that can't be stopped. Yeah, old Jackie Chan super cop tagline there. But yeah, hilariousness in the beginning, some fun stunt work, some crashes. These guys are wearing masks. They don't really look. Yeah, those are masks. They're wearing. They're probably like, what the hell is the most cartoony looking? And if you go back to the poster here, from the one previous, it looks like he ran into these guys.
Yeah, I wonder if they were just remnants of that first movie in this.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and the end credits, the animated end credits.
Yeah,
he's kind of like beating the shit out of those guys in the end credits in a way. Yeah, they had the same outfit, the red jumpsuit kind of thing.
His mortal enemies. They just wear jumpsuits and big cartoon masks.
But yeah, I was having fun with the film. But then there's parts of this movie that gets a little dark. I was like, okay. All right, and talk about what's happening with the little girl getting killed, and you have this big, rich douchebag celebrity son, and he gets tried, And of course, it doesn't go well. Talk about that scene.
Yeah, you see this court case happening, and there's this guy, like right away you see him and you know you don't like him because he's just doesn't care about anything, and obviously was driving drunk and killed this like 4-year-old girl, I think.
Yeah.
And gets away with it, found not guilty, and then leaves the courtroom like, whatever, screw you guys, I'm out of here. Drives off in a super nice car. Only to get home to his giant mansion and is attacked by the plague doctor, who we don't know who he is, but he's got flamethrowers on both of his arms, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty badass.
I mean, that's a really cool suit.
I mean, look at this shot. Like it's so good. It's so good.
And it's very satisfying to watch like that guy get what's coming to him, and like, oh, that's a horrible death too. Burning because he's in his car and he's literally just burning him alive.
Yeah.
Like, damn, that's pretty hardcore.
It just blew up the car. He tried to get away, but he got what was coming to him. But leading up to that though, the children's home that the brother and the sister came from, these two gentlemen, we almost like he's kind of a Steve Jobs type of character. He's creating a new app that's going to change the world, the guy on the left. And these two gentlemen came from that same home. They grew up in that home together, and him and his assistant here, they're kind of like best friends. And he's really pissed off. It's kind of funny because this guy looks like Russian Army Hammer. This guy looks like Russian Jesse Eisenberg meets Woody Harrelson from Venom. And this actress looks like Russian Diz from Starship Troopers.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, so I'm having fun. I'm having fun with all this stuff. But his assistant turns to him. He goes, "Hey, don't worry about it. I
got it covered. Got it covered.
I'll take care of it, right?" And then it leads to this, and you're like, "Oh God! All right. Well, interesting. Could it be the friend on the right?" We'll get to that in a little bit here. So Grom is on the case. He's on the case. He's got to find this plague doctor guy, and he runs into Russian Diz here. Who you think she's getting mugged? He helps her out, but she's just a what would you call her? Social media journalist? Reporter?
Yeah, something like a online sleuth.
Yeah,
like that's kind of, and she's just prodding him for information. She snuck her way into his apartment, basically.
Right.
Photographed his top secret police files, and then got the story out.
Right, because he ran into this guy, and it didn't go too well for him, and he had to run away. Grom did. And then Grom was reporting to the police precinct, "Look, this is what this guy looks like." All right, and they're like, "Oh yeah, sure.
I'm not fighting flamethrower arm guy."
They're like, "Yeah, sure, with plague doctor mask, yeah, whatever."
Yeah.
Only the newbie here, Mr. We're gonna call him Mr. Green.
Yep.
He's got a good heart, but he's just green. But he, accurately draws pictures of Grom's description of the plague doctor. He's like the only one that kind of believes him, And she took photos of all those drawings. And now she's putting her story out there that the cops already knew about this guy for years and they're doing nothing. Controversy sells, right?
Yeah.
But even when he talks to her later, Grom, he's like, "Why do you have to be so negative? What's your content so negative?" Yeah, people like when people rant and get pissed off at stuff. That's how it works.
Oh yeah, no, that's a very believable character.
Oh yeah. At first, I didn't like her. But by the end of the movie, I liked her because she didn't give a fuck. Like, she was like, "I don't care if you lose your job."
Yeah.
Like, she didn't. I was like, dude, this chick's a bitch.
Pretty hardcore.
But yeah, now the investigation is on the way, trying to find the plague doctor. Now there was another group of officers brought in. Were they like Russia's version of the FBI?
I think so. Yeah, I think either the FBI or like a different department that had more clout or something like that. They had a little bit higher, but they came in the suits. Yeah, everyone's real condescending, and they've got better resources, and they've got like, "Well, we can handle this guy. Like, you guys take a break."
The main guy, every time that guy smiled, I wanted to punch him.
I wrote in here. What did I write in my notes? Inspector Big Teeth. Yeah.
Every time that guy was smile,
just like,
I'm just like, hey.
Oh yeah, no, perfect casting for that guy. That's right, because they're not, because Grom is not even assigned to the case, because it's their case. It's Inspector Big Teeth. They're assigned to the 12 missing refrigerators case.
Yeah, some bullshit.
And so they keep saying, "Where are those refrigerators?" Like, we don't know. We're not going to look into that.
Yeah, and then when they're out looking for the refrigerators, they're out looking for Grom. The plague doctor. Excuse me.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed the relationship between him and the chief.
Yeah,
it was kind of funny.
Unexpected.
Yeah, especially when you have the cliche, "I want results. Damn it, Grom! You're burnt down the city. You're making us look bad." I mean, that's been done to death, right? Lethal Weapon, Bad Boys. But it was kind of fun that he brought him in to yell at him like that, for show for the rest of the precinct to see. But then he's really like, "Yo, man, so you need to kind of chill a little bit, and then make sure you come over for dinner tonight. My wife's cooking some good stuff." It's kind of funny.
We'll take care of you. And then at the end, not to jump to the end of the movie, but at the end when everything is sort of resolved, they have like a really nice warm embrace. And I was like, oh man, I know, right? What a nice hug.
But things get crazy. You got a little bit more fights and shenanigans here and there, and unfortunately, our boy here, Grom, is framed as the plague doctor. Russian. I almost said something else. Russian Diz. Almost said something else. Tried to go in under disguise, try to help him out, but he's pretty stubborn, and that's kind of like his character. Like, he doesn't trust people, which kind of slowly changes by the end of the movie, and then he makes friends.
He's got his little team. Yeah.
What was the tagline? Friends indeed. What was it? Friends in need or something like that.
A friend in need is a friend indeed.
Yeah, the little tagline at the end. But a little bit of action here and there. Not a lot of action. And Grom's fighting style is more like brawler. Yeah, like, I don't remember if he threw an actual roundhouse kick or anything like that. It was more
I was judging
street brawl
from the beginning. I thought there was going to be a lot more action, and I remember when there's a big fight scene right before he gets framed. The plague doctor is sort of drumming up all this controversy and drumming up kind of like the Joker does, like getting people on his side because he's going after these guys who have escaped justice, but taking it out. He's a vigilante, so everyone's kind of rioting behind him. They take over this really expensive, lavish party, and you have red hair Woody Harrelson guy, the Mark Zuckerberg, who's like trying to talk them down.
Yeah.
And then Grom protects him, gets into this fight. And so when that big action scene happened, I was like, all right, here we go. This is the big action scene.
Yeah.
I was a little let down by it though.
It's kind of cut short too.
It was super quick. It was done fast. And there wasn't anything there were a couple cool stunts on that big staircase.
Yeah.
I was expecting a lot more fights.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. But he just immediately got arrested. And of course, Officer Big Teeth is salivating.
Oh yeah.
At this, but his friend and not by his request, but Russian Diz helps him escape out of the police precinct, and now he's on the case. He meets up with Russian Steve Jobs, and here's did you see this coming?
I did not.
I did not.
I remember. Well, I'll let you tell it, and then I'll tell you what my note was.
So he goes and visits Russian, Woody Harrelson here, and he's like, "Look, I've done some research. I went back to the home that you came from, that you and your friend came from, the children's home, and I found some drawings and a book of drawings in there." And the beginning of the film, actually, I forgot to mention this. We're introduced to this kid here. And you got these bullies basically trying to torture and burn this dog alive. They're going to burn the dog alive. I'm like, really? And so this kid steps up and takes on the bullies. At first, I was like, is that a young Major Grom?
That's what I thought too.
Right, right. But when you find out, is he defended the dog, but he didn't just beat up the bullies. he burned the bullies alive. And you find out, here's the big twist. You find out the big reveal that the little kid is Russian Woody Harrelson. And Russian Woody Harrelson, the whole movie, you think it's him. You think it's his friend that's the plague doctor.
Mhm.
But he's basically his evil alter ego, in a way.
Yeah.
Is that the right? What's the word?
Yeah,
for
I think
him?
that's right. Like I wrote in my notes, a Fight Club twist. He's basically his Tyler Durden.
Yeah, there you go. It's his Tyler Durden, right?
And I remember the whole movie, I'm like, why are these two characters? This is so weird to like have these two friend characters, and you have this one guy
right
who seems to be trying to do good, and the other guy who's like murdering people horribly. And I just remember being like, why I don't understand why this is like this. And then that twist happened. It's like, he's not real, it's him. Oh, yes. Actually, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So it was a good twist.
Yeah, and it was well done too, because he was trying. Grom showing him, these are your drawings as a child, and they were of Plague Doctor characters. There's the origin of the design. So he wants to do good, but there's a more extreme side of him that's just like, I'm gonna fucking kill everyone. And then we have our big reveal that Russian Woody Harrelson is the Plague Doctor all along. I kind of like the little back and forth we had too. Like right after he knocked out Grom with the wine bottle or something like that, him and the Tyler Durden character kind of go back and forth, and then he just embraces it at that point. And then because he kind of feels like he was kind of busted, then tell everybody watching what happened next, because he uses the social media. Chaos.
He basically said, what does he say? He basically says like, I'm going to get away with it, right? I mean, he's like, I've started something that's going to. Oh no, he's saying you're gonna get busted for this. He's like, you're still on the hook for this, right? Like he said
if you see this video, that means I'm busted. But you guys are the Plague Doctor now. And everyone puts on their own Plague Doctor masks.
Right.
Yeah, because he's like a social media star. Like people are selling Plague Doctor merch anyway. So a lot of the gangs in the area, a lot of the knuckleheads, it started this ridiculous riot. The cops got fucked up. He
burning people.
He rigged an explosion right there where the police precinct was.
Oh, that's right. Right during a press conference.
Yeah, and you thought we're gonna call him what you call Commissioner Gordon, Russian Commissioner Gordon, just for fun. You think he's dead, but just chaos after this, and you could see the influence on everyone. And this is the brother of the sister that unfortunately got killed earlier by the rich douchebag. He's all in. He actually became one of the kind of like the followers, Plague Doctor followers, and he finds I think it was a rich politician, right? He sneaks into his house, and he's going in there to murder him, and he's about to murder him, and he puts on the mask, and then I think it was his children or his grandkids show up. The politician, I can't remember but these little kids show up and they're like, what's going on, and then after that he realized, he ran out of there. He was just like, this has gone too far, this is not me. But let's get back to we're getting to the finale here. So the friends indeed, they break him out of jail, and he's like, it was kind of funny, his buddy here on the right, Green, Officer Green, we're gonna call him that. he gives this heroic speech. Even the music cues in. Like we're hounds, man. All right, we're wolf pack.
We're werewolves.
Yeah. We're gonna fight. Okay. We're a team. We're gonna fight together. It's destiny. All three of us are together in the music. And then Grom's like, "You're right." He's like, "Grab a gun from that closet over there," and he goes in the closet and he locks him in.
It's like a wine cellar. Here you go. And turns around, hey.
Give him a few hours and then let him out.
Yeah.
You're in charge, Russian Diz. We'll get to the finale here. So now we have our showdown, our final showdown. Now, be honest. Were you disappointed?
Yes. I will say, not immediately, because when the fight first started happening, and there, he's got the flame arms, which are cool anyway.
Yeah.
And he's trying to like throw punches with the flame arms, but they're getting blocked. So you see the flames kind of doing this whole thing. That was really cool.
Yeah.
And it lasted for about 3 seconds. And then there was like flipping, and there was, some like throwing across the room and desk smashing, all the stuff that you kind of see in every fight scene.
Right.
And it was done real quick. And then it like stopped and then started again. And then it was a really, you want that big epic showdown.
Yeah.
And you
like
got
brawl.
like little hints of it. And it never really happened.
Especially earlier when Grom throws a rock at him when he first meets him. And he doesn't even look that way. And he has this reaction time where he just grabs the rock. And you're like, holy shit, what kind of training does this guy have? Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, not really a big fight. When the friends showed up to help Grom, we did get a little bit more action.
Yeah.
A little bit there. I guess there was that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess it's better than nothing. But yeah, in terms of fisticuffs or some kind of fight, is really disappointing, which might be the theme of today's episode.
Oh.
Yeah, and we'll get to the next movie. We'll get to the next movie. But at least we did get some more funny moments.
Yes.
Like when him trying to think, trying to take him out.
And then what do I have to think about?
Yeah, he's like, fuck it, I'm not gonna think anymore. And like some of it, like he's just like strapping him to a chair and pushing him out of the window of the building was one of the thoughts. He's just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna kill this guy.
Yeah.
Because at this point,
because
at this point the cops still think Grom's the plague doctor. They don't know that Russian Woody Harrelson is, but Russian Diz recorded him basically villain monologuing.
Yep.
Incriminating himself. So he's fucked. So they wrapped him up and sent him to jail and all that. And of course we have this extra scene towards the end setting up the sequel. Yes. So it's after
like the weird CG version of him.
Yes. And because I guess he fully embraced it now. It's not his dark-haired friend.
Right.
Yeah. Who died in the military, actually. Didn't he die in the military?
Yeah, they said he died in the battlefield somewhere.
Right. Now the scene after the end credits. So you have the this is the mid credits or post credit mid credits, right?
Yeah, mid credits. Yeah. Did
you see the scene after the end credits?
I did. I figured it was just this is a completely new character we haven't seen. Sort of like what's it, Mickey Rourke in the second Iron Man movie where he's just like watching reports of something and he's just completely separated.
Right.
Yeah, it was I didn't understand any of it or any of who they were, so I just kind of wrote it off as like that's going to be the next movie, it'll be whatever.
I feel like a Marvel casual, like those early days, like I knew who it was, but everyone else was like, huh? That's what I feel right now.
Yeah, that's exactly.
You guys, all you major Grom fanboys out there, let us know what that end credits scene was. Let us know in the comments. I would love to hear. At least give us a little like heads up. I would love to hear about it. But he fully embraced that it's him now. It's funny when he's basically in Arkham. When the doctor and his assistant was walking towards the cage, dude, I every single time I'm going to think of Batman Forever. Every single time I'm going to think of Jim Carrey as the Riddler in the cage going, I'm Batman.
Solid impression.
I can't help it.
I get. No, that's that whole movie is seared up here.
Oh man, but Friends in Need and Friends Indeed, whatever the fuck it's called, and he embraces it, and he's kind of got his little team now. And cool. The shout out to Russian Commissioner Gordon, who did not die after the embrace with Grom. He knocks out Officer Teeth, which was satisfying.
That was really satisfying, actually.
Yeah. Overall, man,
one of those teeth pop out.
Yeah. Overall, a fun flick, bro. Like definitely a fun comic book movie. It just needed more. It needed more of that action, especially after that really fun beginning.
Well, that was my big thing. That was my big thing. Like, I felt kind of whiplash through the whole movie because I was just like waiting for it to get to that point again, and it never quite did. Because they had a great stunt right in the beginning. Well, a bunch of them, a string of them, with him jumping on top of the car and like flipping into the truck rather, and then like flipping inside and fighting them. And then when the armored car drove through the bus, and like they drove an armored car through a bus, and that was really cool. And then the rest of the movie, they never did anything that cool. Really, there was some great style stuff, like with the character designs and. Like looking back at it, like knowing the whole story, I was like, this is a cool story. You know, it's a cool villain. The team coming together is great. Yeah. I don't know, I was a little kind of shrugging through the whole thing.
You know what he needed? He needed some minions.
Yeah.
He needed some minions who knew who he was. And then Grom could have beat the shit out of the minions, you know, maybe leading up to the finale. The guy would have given us some more action. But there were like brief moments of brilliance that I wish the movie had more of. Yeah. Like when he's doing his investigation, and you have that one hilarious scene where he's just is a montage of him kicking through doors to fight other bad guys, and the camera kept going up like this, showing the next door he's kicking through.
And like, then similarly, there was another scene like that. There was another scene like that that was the questioning people. Or maybe that was the same one, actually. It was the same scene where he was like kicking into doors and then questioning people in like different brutal ways. That was really funny and fun.
Yeah. More of that. More of that.
It was just these little like highlights of really great things. And then the rest of it, I felt. You know what it was, too? I noted the music. And I think the music did a lot of, I don't want to say damage for me, but like the music took me out quite a bit because it felt like it was changing themes every time we went to a different location. Like, you know, it was like Batman music, and it was shot like Batman Begins when during that big fight scene inside the rich people place, which or I guess the Dark Knight is that. And so everything was very Batman. Yeah. Right. And then when we go into the casino, it's like it sounded like Ocean's 11, like hip funky music. Yeah. Like, is this the same movie? This is really weird. Like the tone drastically changed. And,
and then later you had Russian rap.
Yes.
You had Russian rap. I think when we got to the inner city,
I think so.
You had Russian rap.
Yeah. So it never felt quite cohesive, like with the tone of the whole thing. So that took me out a little bit, like or that kind of kept me out of it for most of it. Right. But I mean, I had fun watching it, you know, like it was a blast to watch. And like, there were a lot of properly funny moments and like cool stuff going on. So it was a fun watch for sure.
Yeah, we recommended it for you guys to go check out. Just the importance of a beatdown. You know, this is kind of reminds me of my buddy Matt Merritt, filmmaker from Keep Forward Productions. He's always about you got to have that one-on-one fight. You gotta have, and like a lot of the most recent martial arts movies that are getting critical acclaim, movies that I enjoy, I kind of have to agree with them. Like a lot of them are not having that one-on-one finale showdown, or one versus two like showdown. You know, they're kind of been skimping away from that for some reason. Yeah, man. There's a project. It's so important, especially to that kind of genre.
For sure.
Look at the original Spider-Man. Look at that. I did a Scrapping with Samurai reaction video with stuntman Alex Chung. And if you go back, watch the end fight with Green Goblin and Spider-Man. Watch that end fight. That fight is brutal.
Yeah.
They beat the shit out of each other. Like they like bleeding, mask coming off. There's some wire work in there. You know, like they beat the shit out of each other, and there's no music during that fight.
Yeah.
None. It's just brutal. And that's the first goddamn Spider-Man movie. That's the first Spider-Man movie. All right?
Yeah.
It's important.
It's important. And like it's cathartic. Like if you're setting up heroes and villains, you know, and you do have to have that moment of catharsis, like even if it's not beating the shit out of each other, it's coming head to head and fighting. Like, you know, Batman fighting the Joker is different. They have that big showdown. It's not necessarily them punching the shit out of each other. That is in there, but that's not what it's highlighted.
Right.
Yeah. So you have to have a showdown. Exactly. But if you don't have it, or if it's not like highlighted or not like you don't land it, it does feel a little deflating to get to the end of the movie and be like, oh, I never really got that.
It's called blue balls.
Yeah.
Yeah. So fun movie. We recommend it, but you might have a little bit of the blue balls there.
Yeah.
I want to see the second one now.
I do want. I almost put on when I realized there was a first one. I was like, oh, maybe I'll just put that on real quick.
Yeah. Is it a full feature length or is it?
I don't know. I was the same thing. I didn't really have time to like look it up, but I saw like when I was looking up stuff about this one, I was like, oh, there's a first one that actually makes a lot of sense because we just kind of dive right into this one.
Yeah, but
there were
a fun watch.
There are a lot of kids that get burned alive. Is one of the things I noted. I was like, this. I've never seen as many kids get burned alive since like Game of Thrones or something.
Yes, it's fun.
There's a lot of like RRR influence. I feel like. There's a lot of
Bollywood.
They were trying to get to some of that stuff because he just starts dancing all of a sudden when he's in that posh
in the
party.
club. Casino.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. All of a sudden he just busts out to dance moves and like, what are we doing here?
Michael Jackson dance moves.
That's a leg kicks and I'm just trying to make sure I got everything in my notes here because I wrote a bunch of notes for this one. Like
take your time. What else we got?
Let's see. There's some stuff in here. Oh, Plague Doctor reminded me a lot of Nicolas Cage's character in Kick-Ass.
Yes.
Like with how just brutal he was.
Big Daddy.
Big Daddy.
He actually says that too. Like when the friend sitting down as Plague Doctor without the mask, he goes, I'm just like Batman, but I kill people, so I'm cooler.
Yeah.
If you think of Big Daddy, he's basically Batman who kills. He's basically Batman meets the Punisher, basically.
Exactly.
So,
I really liked the reporter. I liked her thing as disguises and getting into places. I thought that was clever. I like the Fight Club twist. I mean, it's funny because like I felt like my overall reaction was like I didn't really like it, but then I was like going through notes and stuff. I'm like, these are all compliments and good things, so it's strange. But
sometimes that happens.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get the reverse effect. Sometimes you're like, that movie is all right. I don't know why people said it was that bad. It was all right. I liked it. And then you start reviewing it and talking about it, and you're like, fuck this movie.
We did that.
This movie.
What
movie was that?
It was the American Renegades, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, because we did the American episode with American Renegades and Wet Hot American Summer.
Yes.
And Wet Hot, we were like, well, this is amazing. We love it.
Yeah.
And American Renegades, and both of us were like, it's okay at the beginning of the conversation.
Yeah, we were trying to be nice. And then we were just like, fuck this shit.
Yeah.
and very similar reaction of what we're doing now in finale. If you think about it, that was our main pet peeve with American Renegades.
Yeah.
Where was the end finale action shootout? Like, what the hell, man?
It was nothing. It was literally nothing.
It's really important, guys. It's important. You know, unless it's Alec Baldwin's The Shadow situation where there was a fire and the finale they filmed got destroyed and they just like, we have to film something quick.
Yeah.
It's a little disappointing still, but you understand, right?
Yeah.
But if you have the time and the a lot of it comes down to time too.
Yeah.
If you have the time and the money, do your best to give us some kind of finale. It's really important.
Yeah, there's such a practicality that you're at the mercy of with filmmaking. Like you kind of have to give some movies that, but this one I feel like they had what they needed. They just kind of didn't get there with it, which is interesting. But
but here's another example. One of my favorites, Sammo Hung's Millionaire's Express or Shanghai Express is a really ridiculously fun, over the top, cartoonish sometimes in a way, martial arts action Western comedy. It's really a lot of fun. And there's some great stunts, some amazing fights in there. Cynthia Rothrock has a fight in there with Sammo Hung. Richard Norton's in there. But at the end, one of the greatest martial arts villains of all time, Huang Zhang Li, he's like one of the greatest kickers ever. He supposedly was supposed to have a fight with Yuen Biao and Sammo Hung. And this is an amazing 2-on-1 fight. and they ran out of time. So at the end, it's just like 3 moves, and then they just detain him and capture him.
Oh
and that's it. So it's like, see, I never knew that. I always wanted a longer fight, but I never knew that was the reason until I watched the commentary.
Interesting.
And I was like, damn,
That's when producers have to step in and be like, hey, we need more money. We got to get this right.
Give us 3 more days, goddamn it.
Yeah.
Give us 3 more days to at least do
the first time I ever felt that, I remember it distinctly. I was a big fan of the Mortal Kombat movie growing up, the 95 Mortal Kombat. I mean, I was 11 or 12 at the time. So, like, of course, that was my favorite. When I saw Mortal Kombat Annihilation, the finale is 2 CG giant monsters. And I was like, I just remember sitting watching it being like, what are we doing? Like, I don't want this. I want to see the 2 characters fight each other. And then I remember, like, all right, well, they didn't do that end fight right. And I know that was the first time I ever felt that. Blue balls. Yeah.
But the fight right before that was too short with the Robin Show and versus Brian Thompson and Shao Kahn.
Yeah.
Because they started brawling and it was just like over. And then Animalities. And then I think he beat him, and there may have been a little more dust up after that, and it was just quick.
Yeah, I honestly I don't remember anything except for being super disappointed by giant monsters that I didn't care about.
We reviewed that way back in the day. If you guys are curious about my review on that one, check it out on the channel. Is it really that bad? Well, you're gonna have to watch the review for that one. But it's you can't get entertainment out of it. You can get out of it if you know what you're looking for in terms of good bad.
Yeah.
But if I ever get Shao Kahn himself, Brian Thompson, on the show, on the podcast, the Movie Dojo podcast, if that ever happens, you're coming with me, Billy.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to answer for this.
No, you're gonna just to hang out,
Oh yeah.
But you can ask him. You can ask him, hey, was this supposed to be a longer fight? I mean, we can ask questions like that. That's fine.
Yeah.
Nice. Now we have come out of the superhero comic book movie verse, and we are now in martial arts fantasy world. I did not know this was loosely based off a video game, a MMORPG.
I did not know that until right now.
Oh, well, you're welcome. I forgot the actual name of the RPG. It starts with a Z. There you go. Everybody watching. It's like Zeng 2 or something like that. I forgot. I'm not going to bother trying to pronounce it because I'm terrible. But yeah, that's what I heard, that the movie was kind of in the world of this video game. So Double World came out, and everyone's favorite year of all time was released in 2020. Everybody's favorite. It was your favorite year, right, Billy?
Oh, yes.
We were partying. We were having a party.
We were partying. I had a newborn in lockdown. It was my favorite time. A newborn and a toddler. It was my favorite time.
Copy that. This was directed by Teddy Chan, and I will horribly pronounce some of the names here. Henry Lau, Peter Ho, my huge favorite, and I'm going to get to that. Zhang Luxia is also in this, and Chen Han Lin and many others are in this martial arts fantasy world. So it was interesting because I just kind of accepted it. Because usually when you have a lot of the wire work and you have a lot of people with amazing abilities, right? Usually that's in the genre of the wuxia genre, the martial arts world, right? People have these abilities. So I just kind of accepted it. I was like, oh, there's a lot of CGI monsters, but I guess this is just a fantasy, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's based off the video game, which RPG, which kind of makes a little bit more sense. All right. Plot synopsis. Seeing the neighbor seeing the neighbor whoring. The neighbor whoring? Billy,
did we watch the same movie?
Billy, can you read the plot synopsis, please?
I sure can. The neighbor whoring. Sorry. Okay. Seeing the neighboring country become more and more powerful, a warlord organizes a competition to reveal the best warriors. A young man is eager to bring honor to his clan.
Close enough.
I got some of that from the movie. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so Double World, let's go ahead and jump right into this.
Yeah.
Definitely very fantasy based. This was recommended to me by shout out to Lee B. Golden from Film Combat Syndicate. He was like, yeah, Double World's legit. Check it out. I'm like, all right, cool. It's one of those, it's been in the queue forever.
Yeah.
Like I just haven't gotten around to it.
I definitely came across it at some point, and it's one of those I always skip over, but I always kind of register it mentally, like, oh, well, that looks like fun someday. But the first thing I will say about it is like, this scratched the itch of all those like 90s and early 2000s TV fantasies, like all the Athenas and the like Merlin miniseries, like all those, like this is what I wanted those to be, like just like fun, big, carefree, and like just go fun characters, big CG monsters. This obviously had a lot bigger budget than those did.
Right.
But that's where I would put this one.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see definitely that fun fantasy vibe, a little bit of Clash of the Titans in there.
Yeah.
We're going on our journey. I mean, look at this shot. We're going on a journey, you guys. We're going on a journey. And there's so many people out there that, they all have their favorite genres, and some of them only like the realistic, grounded movies where it's realistic. We're talking about movies with crime and cops and robbers and political intrigue and realism. I get all that, and some of that's fun, but sometimes you got to escape.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to escape to another world, another land, another realm of magic and possibilities, a realm of danger. Yes. Did you like that?
I did. That? I could have watched that for another like 25 minutes of just you doing VO over that beautiful shot.
That's it. Your next movie, I'm doing the narration, opening narration. Let's go.
Done. Let's go to Joshua Tree. We'll do some slow pans of just wides and people walking. Done.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, we are introduced to our three main characters. I'm going to call them Bastard, Cutie Pie, and what do they call the third dude, the big guy? Deserter.
Nice. Okay,
yeah, that's what we'll call them. We'll call them in this. So they're trying to make a long story short, our villain here with Cujo on steroids. I think that's a dog. I don't know.
I couldn't tell if it was a dog or a lion or a bear.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Oh my. Cujo on the roids here.
Yeah.
But our main villain here, he's been working for the king for 10 years, but it's all a plot to sneak his way in to eventually overthrow the king. But he's putting on this kind of like, fake martial arts tournament from the different clans to come together. But it's really just an excuse to cause a riot. And the tournament is just a distraction. And he just wants to, he has all his people set in place to overthrow the king. He has it all set up.
Mm-hmm.
So our warriors here, unfortunately, get enveloped in this. But this clan over here, Bastard's like, fuck it, I want to volunteer. I want to do this. And Deserter, who has the staff.
With the most important staff.
Yes.
The most recognizable staff in the entire world.
Yes, with the clan name on there.
Yeah.
It's broken. The top is broken, and we'll get into that a little bit later. He joins, and then some other random dude joins, and this is how I knew. So it's just three, from this clan, and this is how I knew. Oh, we're in for fun here, because as soon as they start their journey, giant scorpions just come out of the ground, kill the third guy instantly. Yeah. He's gone. I thought he was going to be one of the main characters.
I actually went back and I was like, did they just eat that guy? Because I was like, they can't eat one of the guys already. Well, they did. Okay, 5 minutes in, he's done.
Yeah, and Deserter takes them out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Staff kind of fucks them up. But I was like, oh shit, that guy's already dead. All right, we're in for it here. So they go into town, and then they run into Cutie Pie here. Mm-hmm. And at first, I was like, oh no, am I going to hate this character? Like at first, I was like, "Is this character going to annoy the fuck out of me?" And then she started to throw down. I was like, "Oh, she can throw. She can throw down. Yeah. All right." And the swordplay in the film is very well done. Fight choreography is very well done.
Yeah,
you will enjoy. You will enjoy that.
I thought it was really cool how she was. Oh, sorry. Finish your point first.
Yeah. No, I was saying. However, we'll get to the end. We'll get to the finale. But yeah. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I really when she started fighting and like that sword that she's using or the weapon, I don't even know what it is. It's too heavy for her. So what she does is she'll like put it down and then she kicks it to swing it.
Yeah,
and I was like, that's really cool.
Yeah,
that's
she like really cool uses the momentum.
Yeah, and like her arms are not strong enough to lift it, so she's gonna kick it up at you and then she'll swing it around and use that. Yeah, that was really fun. That fight scene in the bar. Or the restaurant, whatever it was really cool with her.
Tea house,
yeah. The first time you see her really throw down,
I was like, okay, I might like this character, But she's just her stories. She's just out for adventure. She doesn't really have a family. She has no one, and she just wants to belong. She wants to try out for the tournament as well because you get, what do they call it? If you win the tournament, you get crowned the grand. Damn it!
Oh yeah. Oh God, I don't remember now. The grand. I write it down.
Damn it. I forgot what it's called.
The Grand Fighter.
Yes, you get some sort of political status, actually.
Yeah.
You get some status. You're pretty much almost or as equal as this guy. Status.
It was like a general or something, like someone who would be a leader in the armed forces.
Yes. And so she's like, fuck it, I want to try out for it. So she ends up joining. And reluctantly, she ends up joining the two because they need a third member.
Right.
And, deserters like, oh, fuck. It's like, I don't know. All right, fine.
He was like your initial reaction to her. Like, oh, am I going to hate this girl?
yeah. And Bastard, and she kind of embraces them as brothers,
Yeah.
Bastard, it's funny because he has such a good heart that throughout the movie, like towards the end, it was kind of getting on my nerves. I was like, dude, you can't save everyone.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake, stop. Stop what you're doing. You have a more important mission. You're like, no, I got to save him. I was like, oh my God. But it's fine. This is a nitpick. I was like, dude, you're going to die trying to save. You can't save everybody. Jesus. But that's
a literal war.
Yeah. So before we get to Luxia's character, talk about Deserter's backstory. Briefly.
So his backstory, his clan, and I think it was his father or his brother. They were in what was going to be an unwinnable battle against another clan, I believe, where the big boss man, bad guy, that's his clan, his people, and he, his father or his brother, God, I can't remember which one it was now. His family member pushed him aside and said, "You need to live." Okay. Yeah. So his brother's like, you go, you live. We're all about to die. So you go and live, like run away.
Right.
And then he runs off. And
gets labeled the deserter.
Yeah. And swears vengeance against Big Boss Man with Cujo.
Right. So Big Boss Man, actually, his role, he was supposed to be their reinforcements. And he didn't show up.
Shit, that's right.
He didn't show up.
I will say, watching this movie, I was really confused for a lot of the movie.
There's so many clans and sects and kingdoms,
and it was early on.
It's a lot.
I was very much like, I'm just gonna watch this and just let it sort of.
That's why I'm keeping the review simple. I'm trying to keep simple.
Smart. Because I remember about halfway through, I was like, I don't really know what their backstories are. Like, I don't really know, but I'm having a great time. Yeah. That's right. He was the reinforcements that never showed up, so he left them all to die. So that's right. That's why he swore vengeance against them. Right.
Now we can segue into why the spear is broken. His brother was taking out the leader of the rival clan. He was trying to take him out, and he missed him, and he hit a rock, which broke the spear. But he still ended up killing the rival clan's leader, which is Luxia's father. So she becomes this. Which when they find her in the town, she's a slave, and dude, brutal fight between her and the other slave girl in the cage in front of everybody because it's public. It's fun.
Yeah,
place your bets.
Like a pre-show to the tournament.
Dude, that was
We're gonna have these
brutal.
slaves fight in a cage. Yeah, that was horrible.
Brutal fight. But they end up buying her. Accidentally, he kind of buys her. I think Cutie Pie did something to his arm, and he kind of raises his hand, and he chooses to buy her freedom. Yeah. And of course, once she sees that staff, she recognized. She was like, "Oh, your brother killed my dad. I'm gonna fucking kill you," kind of thing. And so they kind of have this deal where he's like, "You can have me whenever, or after I'm done with my murder mission," basically. Yeah. So he's like, "Let me win the tournament. I'll kill douchebag, and then I'm all yours," kind of thing.
Yeah, so that was a cool dynamic for them to have too.
Yes, it was a cool dynamic. until the bullshit. Anyway, well, there's a reason why that fight was brutal. Is because Billy. I mean, this is probably your introduction to her. Luxia is fucking amazing, dude. And I don't know in terms of martial arts. I don't know why. All you fans of her, let me know in the comments why she does not have more solo movies. Because every movie she's in, she's always co-star, like this movie. And every movie she's in, you're like, who's that? Who is that? Because her martial arts skills are so good and they're so convincing. She's probably better than everybody else that's in this movie. Okay, in terms of like real life skills. Like she is so good. But that's why that fight was so brutal, because she's convincing like that. Yeah. All her fights are like that. One of the best action movies I've ever seen, Billy, is called Operation Red Sea.
I saw it. I saw the name of it here.
Operation Red Sea is sick.
I'm writing that down
fucking
right
great.
now.
She is in that, and you're going to be like, yep, I see why Preston likes her. She's good. She always stands out. There's a recent film, Wolfpack, which was an entertaining action film. I really enjoyed that. And she's great in that. So everything she's in, she's always co-star. I would love to see her like star in her own like martial arts action movies. But Operation Red Sea is fucking sick, bro. Nice. That is like amazing. Like chaos. It's good shit. Well, anyway, she's like, okay, all right. And you have this scene here where after they win the first part of the tournament, she's like waiting for deserter to kill the villain, and she's like got the arrow. She's like, as soon as he slashes the villain, I'm taking him out. But he doesn't do that because they have to finish. But he wants revenge. He wants to kill that douchebag, but he also wants to get the title, right, as well. Right. So you can't just murder him right there. Then there's pointless to be in the tournament in the first place, right? Yeah, but but yeah, her character is really interesting, and she's just kind of dealing with being free finally. And there's a really good scene with her later, which we'll get to. But dude, the first trial, bro, this was really creative.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, this is why like high fantasy and like big stuff exists, because you can do really wild, weird shit like this. Yeah, and it was fun to watch. Like,
yeah, all three members were chained together, had to land on chains, this chain here, and get to the other side. Yeah. And they have these giant rolling balls that they would throw down there. So they're trying to dodge the balls, not fall down to the spikes below, and fight each other and get to the other side. It was wild.
It's insane. And like, it's a pretty solid action scene too. Like, they deliver on all the promises of it. Like, look at those crazy weapons. Yeah, but they use them.
Speaking of Xena.
Yeah, exactly.
You got some chakrams right here in a way, right? These girls were bad too. These were bad chicks.
It's and like the scene, that whole entire scene, they delivered on the promise of it too. Like, they're walking on the chains. One person falls, they all fall. They're all chained together. But then they got to figure out how to stay up. So they're using those knives to hook onto the chains. Then they got to fight from down there, and they got to It was cool, man. And then you saw someone get impaled on the spikes. And then when those balls start coming through, you see someone get squished between the two balls and they explode. I was like, oh my God, they're really doing everything they promised. Then the chains start turning and so they're like, we're almost there. Nope. Now we're on the other side again. And it was cool, man. I was really into that scene.
And the one guy's leg gets caught in the chain. And then
that's right.
And then the leader's like, I got to cut your leg off, bro. Sorry.
We'll
cuts his leg off. Puts him on his back and backpacks him to the other side.
Yeah.
But yeah, it sucks for the losers, man. All the losers get branded, which is kind of fucked up.
Right on the cheek, too. Like, ugh.
Yeah. And I'm sure it said loser, right? I don't know.
I hope that's what it said. Yeah.
It was like, damn. But yeah, for those of you expecting a more traditional tournament fighting, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Into the Dragon, Bloodsport type of stuff, you might be a little disappointed that they don't do that. I would have preferred a little bit more one-on-one fighting. But at least we're getting something creative, at least we're getting something we've never seen before.
It's less Mortal Kombat and more Goblet of Fire. Like it's more like challenges to get through.
Or challenges, trials. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
And the next challenge is they got to go steal the egg from Smaug.
Yeah.
They got to go in there with Smaug and steal the egg and bring the egg back. And this now you're either in or out with the movie at this point, especially after they steal Smaug. And they came up with the story of it was kind of a sad story. Smaug at some point, I believe, was used for battle. Mm-hmm. So they kind of like back in the day. So they put like these armored horns or spikes on his head so he can ram soldiers, but it stayed on him forever. So Smaug is free in the mystical, magical place that he lives in, but he still has this thing impaled in his head. So he's like nonstop, slowly bleeding, right? Yeah. But he gets stuck trying to chase after them. We're trying to get his egg back, and then we have a conversation. He gets stuck right here. He can't move because of the helmet. Right? But frees him from his helmet. Bastard does because he's got to save everyone. And then they have a conversation. Now you're either in or out with the conversation. Talk about the conversation, Bill.
Yeah, he saw the helpless dragon standing like stuck in the thing. If they leave with the egg, they are successful. They've accomplished their task.
Right.
But he says, okay, if I help you out of there, we're going to take the egg, but we'll bring it back to you when it's done.
Smaug's like,
all right. And he sells him on it. He sells him on the idea. He's like, look, we just needed to do this thing down the road a little bit. We're going to bring it back when we're done.
We're not going to eat it.
Right.
We're not going to fry it up and go to town. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's like I can see some people going, okay, what is this?
Yeah.
Like he's talking to the dragon, and the dragon's like, all right, I'm gonna give you a dap. Thanks for helping me out. But I mean, at this point, you got giant scorpions, you got giant kujos.
Yeah. You know what? I was into it.
Yeah, I was in too.
We're high fantasy. We're talking to dragons. Dragons are talking back. We're making deals. And like story-wise, character-wise, hey, it makes sense. It does. It's sort of, I don't want to say it undermines the whole scene before it where he's chasing him and trying to kill him, but it is an interesting character choice to turn that on its head and say like, all right, well, we no longer have this dragon as an enemy. He's going to help us. He's a friend for whatever that means. I kind of hoped he would come back into play at the end and see the dragon come in and like take out some of the bad guys.
That would have been dope.
But yeah,
that would have been better than what actually happened. Which we're gonna get to.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Smaug's like, all right, have fun, but you better bring my shit back. I'm coming for you. But before all that, we had a sequence where Cutie Pie was trying to touch this rare flower, and a deserter tried to stop her because they're poisonous, and unfortunately, it got on him, and he was dying. And how convenient! It's just like a video game, dude.
Yeah.
You know about this poison, which means you must know what the antidote is.
Yeah.
And he says the antidote is this glowing moss that's usually in caves or whatever. And how
Yeah.
convenient on the dragon on Smaug's helmet is the moss right there, so
Yeah.
they get the moss in it. It's just like, okay, it's fine.
That's
It's just-
absolutely a video game challenge.
yeah. And before that, the girls got fucked up. All three of them died because he had like these plant forest like tentacle creatures came out and snatched them up.
Yeah,
and I know
gnarly.
All you nasty guys out there, I know what you're thinking about when I said tentacles. I know exactly what you're thinking about. Anyway, but yeah, some people don't make it. They don't make it. They get taken out. And now we are introduced to the mystical forest.
Yes,
and a very attractive woman shows up in the hoodie. I was like, oh my goodness, who is this? Wow.
Okay, I like this mystical forest.
And a lot of stuff is revealed to all three characters. A lot of stuff's happens. I'm not going to go into because there's so much.
Yeah.
But you find out that Bastard, because he never knew who his dad was and all that. You find out that Bastard is of royalty. That's right. He's actually, for his clan, is supposed to be the next in line. And he, of course, he never knew that. He was just a bastard growing up, just trying to survive. But you find out he's actually of royal blood. He has the signia on his arm. And he's just like, he freaks out. And as any young person would do, freaks out and runs into the forest, just runs into the forest because he's just like, you laid all that responsibility on him. Like, hey, you're supposed to lead the country. You're, and he's just like, what? Like, what is happening? Right. So that gets revealed to him. Did we learn it? I think it was mostly him we learned about. I don't know.
That was the big one. Yeah. I think everyone got a little bit of their history that they didn't know.
Already.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if there was anything new with Deserter we missed. I don't know.
I don't think so.
Right.
Because he already kind of knew.
Right. But the big deal is the royal blood is of the rival clan of Deserter's clan. So Deserter's pissed. So he's like, oh, you're my fucking enemy now. Oh, you're my enemy. You're like, so screw you. So Deserter walks off in the forest and goes, wah. Cutie Pie's running around in circles trying to get them both to come back. And she goes, wah. And then she goes another direction, right? Which ends in a tragedy. And this is where I was like, whoa, as much as this fun fantasy adventure is, it got dark real quick.
It was like,
yeah, go ahead and talk about this. Go talk about this scene, bro.
Good God.
Like,
so I don't remember if it was in this moment, but you kind of realize that the bad guy's intention is to get all the clans fighting so that he can seize power, right? So his plan is coming to fruition, and he's watching our team at each other. So they are all separate in the woods. They capture Cutie Pie, and he's basically like, all right, come give yourselves up, or I'm gonna kill her. And so he stabs her in the leg. After a pretty solid fight scene, they capture her. He puts a blade through her leg, and you're like, oh man, he's torturing her. That's horrible. And then
rips off parts of her hair, strands of her hair.
That's right. Yeah, she has a braid here, and you just see him wrap it up, and you're like, he's not gonna pull that off of her head, is he? And then sure enough, rips it off of her head. You see the bloody thing on her side. She's freaking out. And then he just slowly pushes his blade through her back.
Yeah.
And you just see her face the whole time.
Yeah.
And they're watching. Screaming. Yeah,
Deserter, like, he was like, because Deserter came to help her.
Yeah.
And he's kicking ass.
Yeah.
And then the main villain's like, step down or I'm going to kill her. Yep. And then he steps down, he throws the staff.
Yeah.
And then they grab him and they hold him there. And so and then he tells her, don't worry, Cutie Pie, everything's going to be okay.
Yep.
Everything's going to be okay. And then right after that,
and it's slow,
right in front of him, dude.
It's the slow blades going get me. Like Saving Private Ryan, I will never forget. I will never in my life forget that scene. And this one is like pretty close. I think a lot of it was because it was so unexpected, and it's in such like a fun high fantasy like good time.
Yeah.
I was like, Jesus, man, this is a brutal death scene
Yeah.
for like an adorable character that we like.
Yeah.
And I was surprised. I was really,
and it was
really
right around the time too where I was getting to like her more.
Yeah.
And it was like
Yep.
perfect timing. All right, we got to shatter Samurai's dreams.
Yep. You gotta hurt us. You gotta hurt us right now.
But
Right
one of
before
the
the big
things-
Act 3.
Yeah, one of the things she tells Deserter before he says fucks off, and then she gets killed later in front of him. She says, "You and Bastard have been the best things in my life because I've had no one. You two are the best things that have ever happened to me." And that stays with him, and it comes back later when he thinks about her again. But they capture Deserter. Bastard shows up, finds the staff, and he's like, fuck. So he's like, all right, I'm forced to, I got to try to rescue my buddy and avenge Cutie Pie. So he kind of tries to spread the word to the defeated members of the tournament who didn't make it. He's like, look, this is what's going to go down. Okay. And they're like, hey, we lost. We're going home, man. Fuck you. We're out of here. Right.
Yeah.
And then they change their mind and we have our finale. But he shows up and he's like, bless you. He shows up and he's like, kind of posing as, technically I am the last remaining member, but if I kill Deserter, then I win and I get the title. Right.
Yeah.
And the villain's like, oh, fine. You know what I was getting tired of? The fucking king, the fucking young king. Yeah, whatever you say. Yeah, do whatever you want. Whatever you say. If that's what you say, if you think that's right, I'm like, dude, can you make a decision?
Yeah,
you're the king. Stop saying that. If you think it's okay, I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah,
Anyway,
that was a little like, all right, do something else. Do something.
Like, are we supposed to like this guy? Like, dude, come on, be a king. Anyway, so they kind of set it up as if they're going to have the showdown with him and Deserter, but it's all a ruse. And he gives them this rousing speech. He's like, because I think at this point Deserter's given up.
Yeah,
he doesn't care if he dies. He doesn't care about avenging his brother. He doesn't care about avenging Cutie. He's just kind of done.
Yeah.
He kind of gives up, but he has this really good speech, and he goes, hey man, you got to live. We got to do this for Cutie Pie. Let's fight together, kind of thing. Let's live together. And so then they both start swinging at the traps that are getting the spikes and stuff that's getting thrown at them. They both start blocking them. And then the main villain's like, oh, this is fucking bullshit. They're working together. Start the riot.
Yeah.
Start the riot. He blows the horn. Then there's just chaos everywhere. And you have all these bad guys fighting the soldiers, the king's men, and all that. And it's huge, it's chaos everywhere. Yeah. All right, now, and even the dog gets in on the action here.
Yeah.
Now
that dog fight was intense.
Yes.
I feel like you might want to take this one.
Well, I haven't mentioned Zhang Luxia in a while.
Uh-huh.
So what happened with her character? She has this arc where she starts watching the three for a while, and she kind of starts to see that they're actually good people.
Mm-hmm.
And she kind of ends up liking Bastard and the other ones, and she kind of sees the Deserter's not really a douchebag. And she has this moment where she's just like, there's something I need to do. She sneaks out and she frees the other slaves. And the guy that was kind of torturing her the whole time, the slave master, she kind of fucks him up really quick. Does a really cool move on him. And you think she stabs him, and then she doesn't. She just kind of just kind of fucks with him. And then she tells him to get out of here. And when he runs away, she gives this roar of pain just after that, because she's traumatized. This whole experience has been fucking horrible. And going back to the whole PTSD thing, what does she do next? She actually goes back into the cage and falls asleep there. And after that morning, she meets up. We're rewinding a little bit. She meets up with them in the forest before the carnage and the death of Cutie Pie. She meets up with Deserter, and he thinks, oh, we're going to fight here. And she tells him you know, she's learned a lot from that night sleeping in the cage, and she realizes that that's not her life. She finally realizing she's free, because for a while there she slept on the floor when she was with them.
Mhm.
She had a lot of issues, and she's like, you know what, I'm free. I'm free, and I've decided to live my life with dignity. And then she shakes his hand, daps it, and then she slowly walks off into the mystical forests in slow motion. And that's the end of her character arc. She decides to live with dignity. So during the carnage at the end here, and I was like, okay, that's it. That's it. All right, good for her. During the carnage, all right, Cujo's just fucking dudes up. It's not looking good for Deserter. All right. And Luxia shows up out of nowhere. Now, at first, I was like, oh, well, sure, more Luxia, the better.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining. Yeah, she wants to help fight at the end. Sure. I don't mind this, right? Well, she shows up and then just dies. That's it. She shows up and gets killed. She doesn't even take out the dog. It was more an ensemble attack. Mm-hmm. And then they all end up taking out the dog. So it's not like she showed up, took out the dog, and then had some kind of heroic death. No, she just gets punked.
Yep.
She gets eaten by the dog. And I was so fucking pissed, bro. I was pissed.
So confused because I was like, did I miss something? Like, I think I missed the scene with her or something. Like,
I was like, boo. Yeah. Boo, movie. I was like, movie, you have just lost so many points with me right now. And you know why? You know why? Because we already had Cutie Pie's death.
Yeah.
Oh, but I guess, I don't know, does the director hate women? Because all the women warriors die.
Kill them all. Yeah.
Right? He's like True Lies with James Cameron. He just got off a bad divorce. Yeah. He's like, fuck this. You know, fuck all this. Bitches leave. Right? So
you know who's gonna get eaten by this dog? The one that we gave a whole arc to. Just make her get eaten by the dog.
Bring her back.
Yeah.
Oh, Luxia, we're not done with your character.
We have one day of pickups. You're gonna hate it.
One day. Yeah. Pickups. I thought I was character was done. Shut up. Come in. Anyway, yeah. So I was just like, so that annoyed the fuck out of me that they brought her back just to die, and not even a satisfying death. And what really rubbed it in for me, and I was like, oh, I'm starting to hate this movie now a little bit, is she gives this speech to Deserter while he's holding her before she dies. And it was okay at first. She's like, you know, when I was walking away and told you I wanted to live with dignity, I was kind of hoping you'd tell me to stay. That would have been fine if she wasn't dying. You know what I mean? But the fact she was dying and she said that, but what made it worse for me was right after that, she was telling him to live with dignity. Live, Deserter, live. Live, damn it, live. And what really pissed me off about that was because 5 minutes ago, we just had that goddamn dialogue with Bastard.
Yeah.
We just had that scene with Bastard telling him to live.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is one of the most pointless scenes and pointless deaths to a character that had her arc and left the movie. I was so mad, dude. Maybe I'm more mad than I should have been. But I was I get why did you do that?
It really undercuts all the stuff that they did before. It sort of makes it not the point, and that's like pulling the rug out from under something. Like that's the importance of good writing. Like if you have something that's it makes her whole character feel extraneous, even though she wasn't. Like it had a really interesting setup where they had this relationship. Like as soon as you get your vengeance, I'm going to get mine, and all's going to be right with the world. And then they grow and they change and they have their different things. Like it's like you said, she can come back in the finale after that.
Fine.
It's a little bit like Han Solo-ish, but like she could come back even if she came back and died. If she came back and died for a purpose with dignity, you know, then she will have done what she did. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
That's a little bit of irony, a little bit of tragedy, you know, that's a solid poetic ending. But yeah, to come back and then just die from the dog, and then she doesn't kill the dog, it's really muddled. And yeah, then to give the same speech that we just had a minute ago, it feels repetitive, it feels extraneous, and like it makes her whole character, her whole like purpose for being there less important. And it's really frustrating. Without it would have been great.
Yeah, she did.
Like her character would have made total sense. Yeah.
Or she doesn't fully give in earlier, and she's still with the group, and then at the end she makes the decision to help. Maybe that would have been better.
Yeah,
but we saw her walk off. Like they made this big slow motion into the sunset.
Yeah. Wow, what a great character ending.
I was like, dude, that was fucking horrible. Plus, it's, you know, I'm biased too because she's so good.
I will say it did not hit me that hard, but I did notice. I did, but you were right too. That was my first introduction to her. I hadn't seen her before.
Yeah.
So like her character was impactful, and then at the end, I was a little confused. Like, oh, that just seems like they wanted her to die from the beginning, and even though they had already closed off that character arc, they were like, oh, well, we were going to have her die. Let's just have her die.
Like I said, like if she stayed with them and at the end she was like, I found my purpose. Yeah. I found something to fight for, and then dies heroically. That would have been way better than peace out. Well, you know, I was kind of hoping you asked me to stay, but you didn't ask me. So I showed up anyway to die for you. I hope you're happy. Peace. My twin sister will show up in the sequel. No, I'm just kidding.
There you go.
My twin sister will get revenge. But here's another pet peeve I have. It's like, yeah, it was cool seeing all the chaos and the swordplay, and then we have this bizarre kite flying sequence where the villain's like, "Fuck this, I'm out." And he's flooding the city with what was that, oil, or I forgot what the fluid was. He was trying to
it was something like
set it on fire.
Yeah.
So you have this
self-destruct button.
Right. So he's like, fuck this, I'm out. So he gets on this kite. What do you call it? What do you call those?
Hang
glider. Right, this kite. Hang glider.
I knew exactly what you meant.
And he's flying, he's and I'm like, and then Bastard goes after him, and I'm like, oh, okay, they're not giving Deserter the final kill. That's what was going through my head at first. I'm like, Bastard's going to take him out? Okay. I guess because he's the chosen one. All right.
Kite fight.
So they have this, you know, awkward flying sequence around. It's just so goofy looking. And then he takes the kite down. They both fall down. And then when they fall down, I was like, here we go. The whole movie's leading up to this. Oh, it's over. Oh.
So
what have we been saying, Billy, this whole episode?
Blue balls.
I was like, come on. All the time and money spent on the goofy looking hang gliding thing.
Yeah. We don't
take that shit out and give us a satisfying one-on-one throwdown. And the reason why I'm more disappointed about this is they established earlier that he can fight.
Yeah.
It's not like he's just politician general guy and he has no skills. Then this, you know, quick dispatch of him makes sense. Sure. But they established earlier that he can fight because Cutie Pie was one-upping all his men until she got close to him and he intervened. Yeah. And with like 2 moves, he like took her out. So he can fight.
Yeah.
Dude, like this was the moment. I mean, we're leading up the whole movie to this. And he didn't even like throw a punch. Like he didn't even do anything. He just got beat up. He just got beat up and then he got impaled. I appreciate the impalement.
Yeah.
But
that was gross.
Right through the neck, too.
It was like, you know what? It reminded me of Hot Fuzz.
Yes.
He gets the thing in the thing and under his chin.
That hurt.
I actually did rewind it and watch it again because it was so gross in this one.
Yeah.
Like But you're right. It was super fast and just
I was
done.
like, come on, man.
He crashed. You kick him into the thing, and like, yeah, that's a cool way to go. But it's a cool way to go after a fight happens.
Again, maybe this was a Millionaires Express, Shanghai Express moment. They ran out of time. I don't know.
It
but
could
I
be.
mean, and it would have been so cool to see him. I mean, the impalement was cool, but how much cooler it would have been if he actually used the staff, and finally got the kill with his brother's staff.
Mm-hmm.
Like that would have been. I mean, just have him, give him a weapon. He just randomly, he's like unarmed. He just grabs a weapon on the side, and they just go at it for at least good 2 minutes. Give us at least good 2 minute fight.
That's the fight.
Yeah,
that's the fight of the movie.
Oh, so this bullshit and this, I was like, yeah. Other than that, it was a fun watch. I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I still recommend it. I still recommend it to people to check out. It's fun.
I would recommend it too.
Save it.
The characters are really cool. Like some of the action scenes are really fun. Like the whole ball and chain scene.
Never seen nothing like that before.
Yeah, I really liked the scorpion fight in the beginning too. It was so surprising and out of nowhere. And the scorpions surprisingly looked pretty good. The CG scorpions.
The CGI was pretty solid.
Yeah, you can tell they put money into it. This must have been really cool. And like. I like how it dips into the cheesy side of things. It's not afraid to be a little on the cheesier side. Yeah. And it just sort of leans into it. And so I was like smiling the whole time watching it pretty much. Like, I know where this is going. I'm enjoying it. Like, and then there were like out of nowhere, there'd be some really gory, like right in the beginning, dude gets his arm cut off. And I was like, whoa, we're cutting off arms and bleeding everywhere. Okay. I didn't expect that for this one. Yeah. But yeah, man, it was fun. It was a surprise. I didn't expect to like this one as much. I'm glad I did. I really enjoyed it.
I'm glad you liked it, man. I'm glad you liked both films. Has this been? This is not rare for Yin-Yang, is it? Where we
like both
movies?
No. I think
we've done this before.
We tend to like things before we dislike them, but like so we've liked both a couple of times. Yeah. You know what's funny about this one, and it didn't occur to me until we were talking about it, but I feel like Major Grom is like bad good, and Double World is like good bad. You know what I mean? Like they sort of meet in the middle for me, where Grom like is this sort of big, glossy, sexy action movie, but it's not great. It doesn't quite get there. And then Double World is cheesy, I don't want to say lackluster, but like cheesy, predictable, but like the fight scenes are good and the characters are good. So it kind of comes up and it balances itself out. That's the yin-yang of this episode.
Yeah, there you go.
Like the yin-yang, good, bad, and bad, good.
There you go. Look at that. And the word, this is my new saying. I'm going to be saying this a lot now on the channel. Lady Fatblood said this and recently. And I was like, I got to use this all the time because it's kind of true. Sometimes a good movie doesn't have to be a good movie. A good movie doesn't even have to be a great movie, but it's got to be entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Some of my favorite movies, not great movies.
Yeah, it's got to be entertaining, man.
So many movies I watch, like movies when I was a kid, I'll watch them again, and I'll be like, oh, that's not very good, just with my understanding of filmmaking now. But there's still something about them that's like, no, that I want to watch it again now.
Yeah. The Wages of Fear was not entertaining.
No, that was not entertaining. Let's do another hour and a half on Wages of Fear. I got more to say
now. Bonus
CGI
episode.
fire.
Oh man, well, this was a blast, brother. This was a lot of fun. As always, these Yin-Yang episodes or any movie reviews that we do, they're always versus
my
episodes.
Face usually hurts from smiling and laughing at the end of them.
That means I'm doing my job. Yeah, that means I'm doing my job. I want my guests to always honored to have guests. I want my guests to have fun. That's what the whole point is. And I hope you guys are having fun watching us knuckleheads. And that's what it's all about. So hey, if you guys have seen Double World and Major Grom, Plague Doctor, let us know in the comments below. What do you guys honestly think about them? Have you seen the newest Major Grom movie? Let us know if it's any good, if we should review that as well. If you have any other martial art fantasy recommendations, let us know about that as well. And hopefully I get to see you guys at San Diego Comic-Con. It depends on when this episode comes out. This might come out after San Diego Comic-Con. You never know. if it's after Comic-Con, then I hope hopefully you'll be there for the recap episode here on the channel. But yeah, always a blast hanging out with my brother here. Make sure you click on the links below and follow Billy on his filmmaking journey. A lot of cool stuff on the way, and I know about it. You don't. I can at least tell them this, right? It's a superhero martial arts fantasy.
Yeah. You can tell him. You can tell him that. That's
and it's a reboot of Rages of Fear. It's another reboot, right? Yeah,
I'm gonna.
But you're doing another reboot of Rages of Fear, and you're calling it Rages of Fear Redux.
Redux, exactly.
And it's a superhero martial arts fantasy movie.
5 hours long. So many fight scenes.
Part 1 is 5 hours. Yes. Are you gonna it'll be like a Kevin Costner thing? You're gonna have 4 parts
of 4 3-hour movies in a row.
All right, guys. I hope you had fun. We see you on the next one. Hey, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Old Samurai Guy. Join, become a channel member. Join there for exclusive content. I've been having a blast reviewing random films, and I watch a random movie. Right afterwards, I review them, and they've been pretty hilarious and pretty fun. So that exclusive series just for you guys, the channel members and patrons, and all kinds of exclusive stuff. So if you're interested in that, check it out. All right, guys, take care. Keep watching the fantasy flicks. Keep watching the martial arts genre, baby. Oh, yeah. And if it's good, if it's entertaining at least, keep supporting that superhero genre, man. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Even though it's dead.
You can, if you learn one thing about superhero movies, you can always bring them
killed a Comic-Con buzz. I just killed it with 3 couple of words. Everyone's like, oh, there's some good stuff out there. All right, guys, take care. See you on the next Yin-Yang. Peace out, guys.